Hello and welcome back to Lab Coat Theater. Today I'm going to be modifying a couple of products that have already gone through their whole design stage and they have a true design intent for what they're supposed to do. I'm going to take these products beyond that design intent, which could incur a little bit of risk, meaning some of my modifications could fail if there's a leak or whatever and lead to property damage. So these modifications are for myself, and I'm just sharing with you how I do it for myself, and I bear my own risk to damage to my RV or home with this stuff. So please keep that in mind as you modify anything really beyond its original design intent. So with that said, today I'm going to be showing you how I extend the coverage, the area of coverage for water leak detectors. I use two different kinds. I use this kind of an old-fashioned kind. These have been around for a long time, and they are audio only, and they generally come with a little sensor like this, and it has a very, I don't know, it's about 1 inch wide, so when you have a water leak, it's got to be right in that sensor area. They actually work pretty good, and I've had some success with them catching leaks in my RV, and very small leaks. So if I had not had this, it's possible those leaks would have happened or stayed there for quite some time, and it would have eventually led to like mold, mildew, and misery, basically. And so in campers, it's a really big problem. So even though it worked for me, I thought that perhaps there should be a way to expand the coverage area for these things. And so I got to thinking, and one day the, I guess, 6 or 7 remaining brain cells in my head actually came up with an idea and that they could all agree on. And that idea was conductive copper tape. So all of a sudden I thought, okay, wait a minute now. We have a couple of wires here, and basically all this does is bridge the connection here with that water. And what if I extend that with copper strips? And so I played around with a couple of things. In fact, on my garage floor, and I had these long strips, and I'll try to pull a picture up of when I first did that. And I was stunned to find out that even with longer strips, and I just licked my finger, put my finger across the 2 copper tapes, and it worked fantastic. So I extended that and used it in a practical way in my camper, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But for now, I want to continue to talk about these things a little bit. So I showed you this one here, which is pretty much audio only, and you have to be in the home or RV when this detects any kind of leak. So it's important to recognize that. Now with this other device, this is made by Govee, and that's Govee. And these devices are very similar, where they also give you an audible alert. However, they also have Bluetooth capability, and if hooked up to a gateway, they can notify you anywhere on the planet that you have a leak in your home or RV, as long as you have Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi is working in your RV or your home. So that's very important. So I have these all over my home. I also have these in various places because I've had them for a while, and they work great. So when I say all over my home, I have these under my dishwasher, my washing machine, behind my refrigerator. We have multiple toilets and sinks and cabinets and stuff. So I have these everywhere, and this one's labeled 6, so I label them and name them accordingly in my app. But right now, I want to show you how I make these devices work with copper tape. And so let me get right to it. It's actually very simple. So what I recommend first is clean your area, clean the substrate wherever. So pretend this is a cabinet and clean it really well. I use IPA quite a bit, and just make sure whatever you clean it with isn't going to damage something that you don't want to damage. So I already took some of the backing off of this to start this, because it would have probably taken me another 5 minutes of this video to be able to show you what I want to do. So I started it a little bit. So lay your first strip out, and put a little thought to this too. When you design your detection area for your water leak detector, make sure that it's not in a place that you're going to be putting boxes or different things that it's going to damage the tape itself. I will say though, this conductive tape has crazy stickability rating. No, that is not a real technical word. I don't think it's a word, but I like to use it because I think it speaks volume about the way things stick. So here, where I just put two pieces of tape parallel to each other, keep them about 1/4 inch away. You'll still detect a little bit further away, but I think 1/4 inch seems to work for me. So what I do, like let's say if you want to go this way and this way, but let's say you want to branch off this way. Well, what you could do, you could jumper these things. It's kind of neat because this is kind of a work, it becomes this little bit of a work of art. And so I put a little insulator right there. And what that allows you, it allows you to jumper across one of these legs to be able to go a different direction. And this is kind of fun because it actually turns into a little bit of an art project. So we're gonna do that. That's a little further than I'd want it to be, but I think it's still gonna work. Okay, and make sure they don't touch. That's the big thing. Either one of these legs don't touch each other because that would defeat the purpose because the alarm would always go off. So now you have two legs, or actually, two legs going in different directions with a little bit of an isolator here. And you'll know pretty quickly if you have a short because it'll go off right away. So with this particular device, which is audio only, what you want to do, cut your sensor off, split your wire, and then after that, remove, I don't know, roughly 1 inch of insulation from your wire. And then after that, you don't have to worry about polarity or anything like that. Just take that wire and you can sandwich it onto the conductive copper tape with some more conductive copper tape. And what I would recommend too, to secure the wire, is to put some other tape out here in case this moves. What you want to do is kind of mount this on a wall or something because I don't think this is waterproof. So let me grab another piece of tape here. And make sure this is off, okay. I will say that what I've done in the past is I've actually soldered to this copper tape. And you can actually solder to this tape very effectively. And I did that in my camper, and I'll show you that later. But I realized, why solder when you could just use the tape itself? So now that we have this attached, I'll put it, you have the choice to put this either on music or alarm. We're gonna put it on music, and we would know right away if there was a short because it would start going off. So what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shoot this over here. And if you don't hear an alarm, I'm gonna have to start this all over again. No, okay, here we go. Should hear an alarm. There we go. So it works. It works pretty good. And it works, so far I've had really good success in all of my tests. I've not had any practical leaks yet. Praise the Lord. In my camper where I've only been able to test it. Usually I lick my finger, put it across, and you could hear it go off. But now that's with this device. With the Govee device, it's a little bit different. Where the Govee, well, it has these pads on the bottom. And so these two pads here and these two pads here, they actually have continuity across them. The ones that need to bridge are these two here and these two here. So with these pads, it seems simpler actually to solder to two of these pads and run wires very much like I did here. I soldered here, and then I use the piece of tape here to anchor the wires, and now I have this wire here, and it's pretty simple. You can do the same thing that I did here. You can get another piece of tape. Oops. Put it over here. Put the other one over here. I may have to disconnect this guy. There we go. I should be getting a notification on my watch or my phone here pretty soon, now that that went off once. But I'll show you how that works right there. So right now we have these two pads that I soldered to, and the wires very similar to what I did here. And then we'll do this, put a little water on there. Look at that. So it works great. So what that's doing now is it's sending a notification to my phone, and then it's going to send it to my watch, plane mode. But I'll show you what it looks like on my phone and my watch when I do get a notification. It's pretty unremarkable, but it's pretty cool because, you know, it will allow you to notify someone, hey, get in my house, I may have a leak or whatever. So these things are marvelous that way. So the other thing you could do with these, and you can also use the copper tape like I have here, and you could bridge to here with the copper tape. I think I might just solder to the pads, and be careful when you do solder onto a device like this that you don't get it too hot and damage the product itself. It's not really designed to be soldered upon like this. So keep that in mind, because these things, they're not expensive, but they're not the cheapest thing in the world. And with that in mind, I will have a link to all of these, to this pretty basic device, the GoV, the copper tape below, in case you're interested in doing something similar. And like I said, it's actually kind of a lot of fun because it's like an art project. So before I take you into the camper and show you how I use this in a practical sense, I just wanted to say something about this business of this, the whole thing about likes and subscribe. We've decided we're not going to go down that path and beg for those things, because what we're trying to do is project a channel that's going to teach people maybe about how the right thing to do, wrong thing to do, whatever. But we wanted to get away from the whole like and subscribe thing. To be honest with you, we're just trying to be a serious channel for you, and we hope that you appreciate that. So just know that we're not going to be begging you to like and subscribe and do anything like that. We're really not. So anyway, I hope you appreciate that. And so with that said, let's go in the camper and check out how the water leak detection stuff works in there. I think you might like it. Okay, we're going to enter Galileo here so I could show you how I use the leak detection modifications in a practical way. Right here is you're entering the Galileo Water Distribution Center. And we're still preparing her for this upcoming trip. And as you could see, we have a crew on site working, so we don't want to disturb them too much. But very quickly, what we'll do is I want to show you. So this is very similar to the device I just shared with you. And I soldered to this lead here and this lead. And as you know, you don't have to really solder that. You could use some of that tape and just strip some wire, sandwich it in there, and it'll work fine. So I have a couple of legs going that way, a couple of legs coming this way underneath these valves where you might experience some leaks. And then I came around here, around the water pump, and around these electric valves as well. So I'm going this way and also this way here. And so I have some pretty good coverage in the entire water distribution center. So the way this works is I'm just going to lick my finger a little bit, and I'm going to cross this. Look at that. So right there. Okay. Shut that off right there. And that's how that works. Very, very happy with it. And fortunately, I haven't had to test it yet, so I don't have any leaks. But I'm going to expand this to the area where the diesel heater is, where the gray water tank is, and leading to my electronics, my power wall over there. So the whole camper will have some degree of coverage to detect early warning leakage issues. And so, yeah, very happy with this. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed what you saw in there. I had a lot of fun putting that together, and honestly, I gotta say, I'm kind of proud of it. And it's been fun doing that. There's a lot more stuff I want to show you, especially with what I use copper tape with. I've actually upgraded our Rumba vacuum cleaner with the conductive copper tape to make it a lot more reliable in terms of charging and that kind of stuff. So I'll be sharing that in a separate video. Anyway, thank you so much for visiting me here today, and we got a lot more to go, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So thanks again, and hope you're well.